Hi, Alexis.
How are you?
Good. It's just the two of us. I owe you homework.
Yes, you do. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello, this is Trisha.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. Yay, everyone's joining. Who else is on the line? Trish, and who's calling in from the phone?
Tisha.
Lynn?
I also called in. I called in from the phone too. This is Trisha.
Yeah, there's someone else on the phone. Trying to figure out who it is.
It's Tisha.
Oh, Trisha and Tisha. I was like, I didn't hear that very well. Hi, Carrie.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. So we're just going to give everybody a few minutes so that we have the benefit of having everybody on. Cool, cool, cool. Got a few more people joining. Who just joined from area code 780? I still don't know the phone numbers. Is it Lynn?
Yes.
Hi, Lynn.
Hello.
So I would appreciate it for today's call. We put ourselves on mute. That way, remember, if you're logging in from video, you can. There you go. Yeah. So if we just put our phones or our computers on mute, then that would make it easier for me to manage the noise. I think that would be best, because that way you can mute ourselves.
Hi, everybody. It's Angelique.
Hi, Angelique. Welcome. So
Okay,
we have.
I'm gonna mute.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so if you could just mute yourselves, that would be great. I'm fired up today, you guys. I'm fired up because there's so much going on this week, not just for me, but it seems like for all of you, that there is a need for all of us to reconvene. And so that's why I just want to give a couple more minutes to make sure that I think Vanessa and Lori, I believe they're supposed to be on. But it's been a very interesting week for most people, it seems like. And I'm not into, giving our power away to karma or limiting beliefs or the sun and the moon and the stars. But you got to give it to when a lot of people are struggling. There may be, an underlying current there. And I do believe that that could be the case this week. So, yeah, got it. Looks like we got a couple more people. Hi, Maria. You made it. And Cheryl.
Hi. How are we? Sorry,
we're good. Yay. So I think tonight's going to be a little bit different, everyone. I was just saying that I'm fired up because I don't know about you all, but do you believe that coincidences are accidents? I don't think so.
Oh.
For those of you that are new joining, if you could please put yourselves on mute, that would be helpful. That way we, I can mute you all too, but I just muted Cheryl. But anyway, I just wanted to start out today. I think most of us are on, and I just wanted to start saying that thank you so much for joining. I know we all have a lot going on, so you making time for this call, it really makes a difference. Napoleon Hill attributes masterminding and being in a group as a key part of success. And I want to make sure that I stress that tonight. I want to explain the concept of a mastermind to the best of my human abilities. And I also want to invite connection, sisterhood, and sharing. Because when 5 people call me crying or message me crying, do you think that's an accident? No. Could that be a coincidence? Yes. Wayne Dyer explains the concept of coincidence as a mathematical term. Wayne Dyer says that the term coincidence is actually the mathematical description of when 2 angles in a triangle coincide perfectly together. And that over time, we've turned the term coincidence into like, oh, it fits together by accident. So he defines coincidence as 2 moments in time that fit perfectly together. And when I see clients from a bunch of different places, few countries, several countries actually, and all of you women are spread all over the world, literally. And when if several people are struggling with similar things, with tremendous fears, paralyzing perfectionism, confidence issues, need to cry, frustrated with others. I'm not putting anyone on the spot, but I counted it when I took a shower before I got on the call, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is total 5 people. 3 of them called me crying. There's something going on. So I want to address the big elephant in the room, okay? And I just want to say that, first of all, it's really hard to go through when we're struggling, it's really hard to go through it alone. And I want to appreciate Alexis for opening up the conversation about what you've overcome alone. And I take my hat off to you, because I cannot imagine, going for so many years with that in your heart and in your soul. And I also want to commend you for the work that you're doing, because I can see the shifts, and look at you, you're even being your sassy self, which I know is who you really are. And, but there's a certain, I don't know if it helps or not, but it definitely makes a difference when we're in community and we know that, you're not alone. And I just want to speak to that. And I want to open up the room to, what have been your struggles in terms of building your business or getting out there and talking to people, and what's been holding you back, because that's what I'm here for. And that's what we have each other for. And as a matter of fact, one of the takeaways from tonight, one of the big things that I'm going to encourage you all today is to connect with at least 2 new people from the group, and more if you want, if you have the time. But I'm going to encourage you to reach out to the group and practice what is it that you do, and give each other feedback, because guess how you learn a new language? I don't know if any of you have ever attempted to learn a new language or have ever attempted to learn a new job. I think all of us can do that, right? Even going through college, the experience of going through college. But I thought of this analogy this week because, and it's funny because I used it once today with the analogy of learning a language. The way that you learn a new language is not by osmosis. I mean, you wish, right? Like I did. I don't know if you know this about me, but I did not speak English 15 years ago. I moved to the States at age 18 and I did not speak English. And I thought my dreams of being a public speaker and a motivational speaker were shattered, because I did that for 3 years back home in high school. And after high school, we moved here, and I did not want to open my mouth in class. I was taking ESL classes. I didn't even pass the test of English as a foreign language. I made a 547. I needed 550. So I had to go in under probation. And I wouldn't open my mouth in class. I wouldn't raise my hand because I was so afraid of getting it wrong. I was so afraid of having such a thick accent that people could tell that I'm a fraud. I was so terrified of being like none of the kids that went to American schools back home in their countries. I wasn't one of them. I went to a Catholic school. I took English lessons, and I was so terrified of speaking, of opening my mouth and saying something that would come out completely wrong. And I was just trying to over-perfect my skills. And I don't know how many of you can relate to you being afraid to speak your mind or say something to a stranger about your business or about what you do, for fear of getting it wrong, for fear of what will they think of me? Will they think I'm a fraud? Will they think I'm a failure because I don't speak the language perfectly? See, I grew up with some, part of my French, I'm going to go all out here, but some fucked up beliefs that somebody put in my head that if you had an accent, you were lazy. Somebody told me, somebody that I admired that spoke English really well at age 13 told me that if you didn't have X, then you were lazy. So what do beliefs do to us when you're told you're not good enough, or you're chubby, which was another one of my beliefs that I grew up with, because everybody called me chubby growing up. That's a cute name. So when we grow up with beliefs of perfection and, we're never good enough to our parents, or we grew up being the caretaker of the family, or we grow up overachieving, it is very natural that that's going to play a huge role in your entrepreneurial journey. And our fears of getting it wrong, failing, are stopping us from learning this entrepreneurial language, or learning to speak about ourselves, or learning the language of success, or even the money mindset required in order to be an entrepreneur. What I'm trying to say here, you guys, or ladies, is that in order for you to be successful in this journey and to learn to master the language and the life of an entrepreneur, you will not do this by osmosis and by keeping your mouth shut. When you learn a new language, you're not going to get it right. You're not going to get it right. You're just simply not going to get it right the first time. Please raise your hand, because all of you are on mute. You're not going to get it right. I mean, many of you have tried taking the foreign languages in school, and guess what? What do you have to do? And let me just unmute you. Let's see. Trisha, I'm going to put you on the spot. Trisha, what do you have to do to perfect a new language? Or when you perfected a new job?
You're asking me what I have to do when I have to. Okay,
I was just saying, when you're learning a new language, and really anyone, I was just putting on the spot, but how do you learn a new language? How do you master a new language, for example? Or let's say a new job. What do you have to do?
You have to get trained.
Uh-huh.
You have to get trained.
Uh-huh. And after training, what happens for you to master it?
You have to practice.
Right. You have to practice. So thank you, Trisha. Thank you for not volunteering. So to master a new language, you have to practice. You have to get it wrong. You learn by doing. You learn by speaking. And that's my point. It's no different than the journey that you and I are on. I may be 5 steps ahead of you, or 10. Nobody's counting. But boy, does it take trial and error. Boy, does it take breaking up with the fear of speaking up and maybe getting it wrong and not being able to answer the question. Boy, does it take courage. And let me tell you one thing about activating courage. I heard Miss Oprah Winfrey say once that 1 year she prayed for courage. And guess what happened that year? She got a lot of tests that allowed her to build her courage. When you sign up for a program like this, guess what happens? You are saying to the universe, yes, I want to do this. I want to do this. Yes. Naturally, and I don't control these things, but naturally, the minute you said, I want to go on this diet, yes. I want to start dating, yes. I want to get a new job, yes. Almost by Murphy's Law or whatever, you get all these tests. Some people will call it an upper limit, like Gay Hendricks. Unconscious sabotage. But things will happen to test the lessons that you thought you were ready to take on. Paulo Coelho says, right before you're going to embark on the journey of your lifetime, and I'm paraphrasing, you are going to be tested on the lessons you thought you had mastered. Right before I was about to quit my job that I was planning 5 years for, most of you have heard that story, but I was tested in every way. And I almost had God, I don't even want to use the M word, but I was put on bed rest. My fiance was deathly ill. I had put my 2 weeks notice. All these things happen, and we all have a story. It's not just me; it's everyone. And the minute I said yes, I'm leaving. Boom! It's like it unraveled all these things. And how many of you feel like I'm not putting anybody on the spot, but 3 of you, and I'm going to look away, like 3 of you told me this week that you felt like quitting. Welcome to the club. It is part of the script almost. Why? Why? Because you are back in so many ways. You're back at first grade and you're thriving, successful women that have had a career before, that have been extremely successful, yet you're in this new journey that feels like, rough waters, ups and downs. It takes more than money and smarts. And that's one of the theories that I'm developing. It's not, because we could have the money, great. And we could have the smarts. I mean, all of you here have incredible intelligence. You've done great, you name it. But the people that you see making really big bucks, some of them didn't go to college. I'm not talking about whether it matters or not. That really doesn't matter to me. I'm just talking about it takes risk tolerance. It takes a stomach muscle that you have to develop to be able to take risks confidently. It takes faith. It takes letting go of control. Because if you could if you could control the outcomes, then what would be the benefit of faith, of not having faith? I always tell people, if I were to interview you and ask you, what is one of the most faithful thing that's ever happened to you? What is one of the most faithful thing that has ever happened to you? I have even talked to Angelique about this. Angelique was Oprah's assistant for 18 years. And how did she land this opportunity that to most of us is like, wow, it was total fate. She didn't make it happen. She didn't move the chess pieces. When I was talking to Carrie about how she met her husband, when I was talking to who else was I talking to? Every single one of you that I know your stories. You could not have moved all the chess pieces of the puzzle to make it happen, to make the most fateful things in your life happen, the great and the not so great ones. The universe is always lining up for things for us under here, like underground. Did you know that the bamboo plant has 7 years underground, and in 7 days it grows like 14 feet? There's a germination and incubation process for everything. But if you're second guessing, doubting, and you plant a seed and then you dig through the soil and the earth, did it take root? Did it take root? Did it take root? Did it take root? Did it work? Is it not working? That is crap. Total crap. That fear of, is it working or is it not working? We're going to stop that. And I know it's not like we're going to eliminate it or erase it out of our consciousness, because it's crazy to even think that. But I'm going to give you all a challenge this week. And I thought of it in a session earlier today. But I want to put us all on a diet. Now you're thinking, a diet of what kind? I want to help me and help you become more aware of the junk in our heads. Because we have been speaking a language that is crapola. And I'm sorry if I'm generalizing and some of you feel like, what, I'm perfect. No, every single one of us has some kind of negative self-talk that is a tape. That is the language that you've learned. It may have been playing in your head for 10, 15 years since you had a trauma or since you were little. And guess how we learn to speak a new language? By practicing a new language. So of course you cannot listen to an audiobook or read a book and be like, I am going to be the most successful person ever. No, it takes practice, my friends. Unless you can figure out a way to do brain transplant, thoughts transplant, or, you've mastered quantum teleportation and all that stuff, then by all means, teach me. Until then, we're going to have to teach ourselves how to speak a better language, a better self-talk language. Are you all with me? Oh, I love this. Oh my God. So, because there's been so many challenges in the air for many of us, I fundamental things this week, and the challenge is going to be about negative self-talk diet. What it consists of is that for 7 days, okay, and I'm going to be so on you about this, it's not even funny. But for 7 days, I want you to write down the negative thoughts that you're having. So for some of us, it's like, gosh, you sabotage yourself so much, Maru. Gosh, you're such a sabotager. You're so mindless about your eating. Gosh, you're so disorganized. Or, like, you don't give a crap about this. That's my mom's voice. That's not my voice. I don't care. So I want us to, without judging ourselves, just because we're so mindless about our negative self-talk, it's ridiculous. We think it and we don't even think about it. It's just a tape. It's like, it's so coded in there. It's a tape. So what I want to do is just start creating the awareness of the negative self-talk that's happening. And my challenge is going to be that without you judging it, it's like you start keeping a log, like a negative self-talk container, negative thoughts container. And, I don't know how you want to do it, but I want us to, before the next call, have a burning of the negative thought ceremony. And I want us to symbolically acknowledge how bad we treat ourselves. Because it's really sad that, we're so hypocrite sometimes when we give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We give everyone the compassion, the generosity, the kindness, the time, and we're patient with people. We say, I know, sweetie, I know it takes time. Yes, sweetie. Yeah, we're forgiving of others, but towards ourselves, we don't do that. This would be a huge disservice to your existence if I didn't challenge you to at least become aware of your negative self-talk and your perfectionism and this isn't going to work, and gosh, I better not say anything because it's going to be bad, or it's going to be wrong, or, oh, what are they going to think if I say this? Whoa, am I going to bother people if I post this 7 times? I want to encourage you to rewatch this tape and get over yourselves. Push your ego to the side. What is most important, your fears or your mission? People are going to move right on. They're not going to care. But you have to insist on you. Things are always going to happen, but guess what? Whatever you want, the universe says, no problem. I got it. You want a new car? You want a new job? You want 10 clients? That's no problem. I'll take care of the sun, growing your nails, growing your hair, growing the food out of the earth, making sure your heart keeps something. That's, you know what I mean? That's the hard stuff. A car, a new client, a successful business, having savings, paying the bills. That's a piece of cake. Making sure the sun rises and the sun sets. That's the big stuff, and that's taken care of. The little stuff that we ask for, no problem. It's given to us, but our doubt and our negative self-talk is pushing it away. Pushing it away. Pushing it away. We have to first, really not in theory, but in real life and in reality, grasp the concept that we are co-creating our realities. Do you agree? We're co-creating in life. It's not just my will. My will is to have a 737 right now and fly to the Maldives, No, we're co-creating our realities. So if it's true that we're co-creating our realities, are we taking time to create? Are we taking time to consciously create a reality? I think we are actually. I think we're actually taking time to co-create our realities and we're wallowing in what we don't want. And so therefore our reality may be something we don't want. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, it's fine. You got it. So you, of course you're co-creating, but are you consciously co-creating is the question. Are you consciously co-creating? So I encourage you all to stick to your morning routine. I am going to encourage you to drop everything else and maybe just do visualization if it's the one thing that you do for 3 to 5 minutes a day, because that to me is the most conscious creation, as consciously creative as you can get. So yes, you're co-creating, but are you consciously creating? Are you spending more time on the problem that you're spending it on the solution? I felt I had such moments of overwhelm from Sunday to Monday because I have, gosh, like between taxes and I've got a couple of talks that I've been asked to speak. I have to fill out the paperwork. I have to fax it. I have to scan it. I have to do this. I have to do that. My son, school. I really felt so overwhelmed, just like many of you have felt recently, right? Because, some of you have jobs and have kids and have a lot going on. And I had to sit down and I was just like, okay, you know what? My job is to do what's in front of me. Okay. What is my next step? So, of course, again, the system of my Sunday ritual is simple. It's home, personal, and business. Just write down everything that comes to mind and keep a running list. And what is the next thing? What is the next thing? What is the next thing that's due today or tomorrow? And now my new thinking, my new co-creation is, oh gosh, I'm ahead of the game. I'm in savings. I have abundant time, energy, money, and resources. I'm ahead of the game because I didn't realize that what I've been doing is to stay afloat, but I want to think abundantly, abundant of time, abundance of energy, abundance of money, abundance of resources. I have enough time, more than enough time to do what I need to do and I want to do. That was a big shift that happened in my head this weekend. Because I realized that I was just sort of planning like, oh, okay, this is my starting point for an income. This is da-da-da. And I was like, what is this? Like, I'm totally not thinking in abundant, right? No, I'm just not talking finances. I'm talking abundant energy, abundant resources, abundant time to do everything that I want and I need to do. And I'll be happy to post that in the group. So what was I co-creating? What are you co-creating? If it's not what you want, good news is you can change it. But it's not going to happen by osmosis. Remember, how do you learn a new language and how do you master it? You got to practice. You got to get it wrong. You'll learn more by getting some things wrong because then you know. Okay? So I didn't mean to preach tonight, but I'm pretty sure this is what I felt called to do, to sort of have a reconnection point and invite every single one of you to use you as a resource to mastermind. For those of you that joined a little bit late, the mastermind idea is like the number 2 key to success that Napoleon Hill recommends, other than creating a plan and working the plan. Masterminding, accountability, sharing ideas, because guess what? Our brains are too small to figure all this stuff out. And I think it was Trisha I was talking to, and I was like, you know what, Trisha, our brains are too small. Like, we're not required to figure everything out because the goal is so monumental. Like, I know Alexis's goal is to like eliminate world hunger. How is she supposed to figure out how to eliminate world hunger? Okay, I think my internet is... Are you all there? Can you all hear me? Oh my goodness. Are y'all there?
Yep.
That was scary. I was like, what am I going to do? So I was just saying that when one has a big vision, and I was, saying one of Alexis's passions is like, world hunger, feeding children. That is a big big vision for one person to figure out. Right. Yet it's scary and it's exciting for her. It can happen. It will happen. But do you have a plan for it? So let me just recap, because so 3 things that are going on tonight and for the following week. The first one is that I am going to ask you to connect with 2 different people you haven't connected with yet, or that you want to. Okay. And the goal of that meeting is for you to fine tune. And if you're still on the fence about what is exactly what you want to focus on, please run it by me if you want. If not, your peers are not here to judge you. They have the same fears that you do. They have the same fears of failure, fears of success, fear of getting it wrong, fear of missing out, fear of what will you think of me? I'm behind you. I'm the one that's the last. No, you're not. No, you're not. We're all pretty much dealing with similar things. So connecting with 2 different people. I also want to invite you to use the platform once again to post things like Carrie posted today. She posted something about the life cleanse. She's come up with a concept and she even wants to trademark it. And we're confused. I'm her coach and I'm confused too. It's like, let's get some heads in the game, because we're not supposed to figure it all out on their own. We get overwhelmed, stressed out, and discouraged when we try to figure it all out on our own. Again, the how. We get really stuck in the how. And the how is too big for our little heads. We're just required to take the next step. For any of you that have ever seen the show, The Amazing Race, okay, I find that life is like the amazing race. Certainly, entrepreneurship is like the amazing race. You're only required to go to the next pit stop. That's all you're required to do. At the next pit stop, you will be given the next clue on how to move on. So what does that look like in real life? Okay, I think I just figured out a program. I think I just figured out how to say it. I'm just going to go out and say it. And then when you go out and say it, you will be given new clues. And it's just like the amazing race that never ends. Because you keep, you are the stewards of incredible visions. You're the stewards of amazing ideas, amazing products in the making, amazing $1 million businesses in the making. You'll have the potential to conquer the world, every single one of you, without regard. Every single one of you, okay? But our egos can't get in the way. The egos that are clinging onto the language that you've been speaking all your life. So we've got to reconfigure that. We've got to reconfigure that. So please don't be shy. You're not going to be growing your business with the services you haven't offered the world. If you're complaining because you're not getting clients, well, how many people have you offered your services to? So we've got to get out and start offering. So to polish the message and to encourage sisterhood masterminding ideas and getting more comfortable saying, letting this thing roll off your tongue, I want to encourage you to schedule sessions, and then you take turns. And getting character to the best of your abilities. Get into character to the best of your abilities. So that's step 1. Step 2 is that I want to encourage you to tell another 7 people or more. And I want to get you practicing. It is not one speech that you're going to give. You're going to give many. It's going to change from person to person, okay? Depending on how good your memory is or how good. This is where I want you to push your ego to the side, because it's hard to approach people. It's really hard to approach people and just off the cuff like that. So Alexis brought a really good question to me. What is a good conversation starter? So from how to stop worrying and start living. No. What's the other Dale Carnegie book? Make Friends. The one about making friends. So he talks about the most important subject and topic for anyone is themselves. We're so self-centered. We all are, so this is something that worked really, really well for me in corporate. It's always about the other person. How's your kid? How's the weather treating you? How are you? We're not listened to and validated enough. I think I shared this with you, or I know with some of you I have, but it's in an interview with Oprah, and she says that at the end of every interview, no matter who it was, if it was Bono or Beyonce, every single one of them asked, "Did I do okay? Was that good? Did I do well?" Every single person in the world is asking for validation, is asking to be heard. They want to know if they did okay. So engage people where they're at. How are you? How's it going? How's the job? What's new? Inevitably, the chances are they're going to return the question. And the next thing you're going to say is, I've been really busy. I'm super excited because I'm launching my business, or I've changed gears in my business. And then let it flow out of you. I'm super excited. I started this new venture. Now specializing in helping businesses. I'm now specializing in helping women do what? Now specializing in helping people declutter what's not working in their lives and just get on with better, easier, lighter lives. That was for you, Carrie. And, but it's like, I can't tell you how many times Carrie and I have gone back and forth. And every time I say it, something new comes out. I think she would agree with this. And every time it keeps getting like shorter, sweeter, more on point. It's the same thing for you. How do you learn a new language? You got to practice. You got to practice, practice, practice. So talk to new people in the group. Talk to one person a day, or just do the 7 in bulk. It doesn't matter to me. Again, don't get stuck in perfectionism. This is more about building your level of comfort. The twist this week is that I want to help you craft an email, or I want to give you the courage to reach out to 3 people, 3 of the 7 people. I want it to be an intentional reach out. Somebody from your past or somebody that you know has connections. Somebody that has connected you to a client before, or who themselves have been a client. And I want to help you craft a sweet email to them to re-engage them in conversation. So yeah, verbally talk to people, but I want 2 or 3 people. I want to help you craft a sweet, sweet email to engage them. To say, hey, what are you up to? I've been super busy. I've been growing my business, or I've started a new business. I'm super passionate about, and I want you to release it. So what I want you to do is come up with the 3 names, or 2 to 3 names. Some of you have a full-time job and have, like Maria, I know you have 3 kids and, life's crazy because you also have a full-time job. So even if 2 people, I want you to send me the 2 names, and a little draft email of, hey, how are you? Last time I talked to you, you were this. I just wanted to give you a quick update of where things are in my life. I'm embarking on this journey. I'm taking my business online, or I am now available to do this. I have started doing this intuitive work, or I have resumed coaching operations on my end. Okay, so 2. And this email is going to carry you through. Maybe you haven't noticed yet, but the things that I'm teaching you is how I reinvent myself every time. Like how when my clients are ending their program and they're not renewing, and I get to sign on new clients, I go back and look at this follow-up list that I have in a spreadsheet. And I go back and say, oh, I haven't talked to this person. I haven't talked to this person in a while. Let me touch base with them and see what they're up to. So this concept of having a recurrent, ongoing follow-up list of contacts and companies, for those of you that want to do workshops, is key. It's part of your business structure. It's having an ongoing follow-up list of people that you do mini sessions with. For those of you that have free ongoing coaching, you've got to start logging them, names and emails. So again, talk to 2 new people in the group, practice, try to talk to people outside the group, and just no ego involved, no attachment. Let go of getting it wrong, because that energy of wanting to impress is what's keeping you stuck. Get more and more comfortable. Send me the names of 2 people just for accountability purpose, and try to draft a cute little email. I can send you all a template, a starter template. Let me just write this down. And then I want you to give it a shot, and I'll perfect it for you. And then that email is going to carry you through future follow-ups. Okay. At this point, I'd like to, let's see. Whoa, I just unmuted everybody. But I know I talked for a long time, but I felt like it was needed. So I'd like to get some feedback as to where you're at and what is one thing that you like support around, maybe, or that maybe tonight's chat helped you with. Anybody wants to start?
Maru, I have a question. This is Trisha. I had a question about the email. So do these have to be people, like for me, I don't have a lot of past clients or things like that, but when I made my list of 30 people, it's people that I used to work with. Or people, that I know from my past. So can it be those people? Like
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a separate list. There's a list of people that you've connected with as possible clients, maybe online, or that you've done mini sessions with. For those of you that are already coaching, to me, that's a separate list because it's not a first point. It's not the first time you're reaching out to them, right? But this is the future follow-up list, like the contacts, people that you used to work with, friends of friends, or friends that are not in the coaching world necessarily.
Okay, and do we ask them for help in terms of if they know anybody, can they recommend us, or is it just more of hey, how are you doing? I just want to see what's up with your life. This is where I'm at, and this is what I'm doing.
So it's so I'm going to send you all a template, but it goes something like this. Hey, how's it going? It's been a while since we connected. I hope this email finds you well and that, the dog is doing better. I was writing to update you in a new direction that my business has taken, or I was writing to update you on, a direction my life has taken. I have launched my coaching practice, helping women start over, or helping women take, in your case, take the mask off from, the falsehood or the wrong screenplay that they were acting all their lives, and something like that. Maybe not so dramatic, especially if these are professionals that you used to work with, but it's the essence. Check in, what's up? I wanted to update you on an exciting new direction, or I wanted to send you an update on where things are at. This is what I'm up to. If you or anyone could benefit from what I'm doing, I'm happy to extend, a 30-minute complimentary session to discuss what are the, what's the obstacle, what's the struggle, and how maybe I can be of service. I really hope we can keep in touch. That's off the top of my head, how the template goes. But it's something like a check-in. This is what I've been up to on the side. Some of you are, half of you have full-time jobs. So this is what I've been up to on the side, da-da-da. If you or anyone I want to stress the importance, and I'm going to put you back on mute. I'm going to stress the importance of action. I've mentioned this before, but it almost doesn't matter what you do. If Vanessa's online, I want to give you a big shout out because, girl, you've been moving. Your head is exploding with ideas right now, and I can sense it and I can feel it. Thank you, because it's not about getting it right and perfect. You got to put yourself out there. It's not about what you say, but how you say it, and that you do something. In park, nothing happens when we're in park. Nothing happens when we're in park. It's the same example of the GPS. What activates the GPS and what starts giving you directions? When you start moving. If you're not moving, you're stuck and start. The sails in a boat, in a ship, what do you call them? The sails, they're adjusted while you're moving, while you're at sea. It's not like you adjust the sails and then the ship goes. No, for the wind to move you have to be out there. But you have to be out there. There's a statistic that's very important for those of you that sometimes get discouraged when you post something or when you put feelers out there and they don't come back. There's a statistic that says it takes 7 to 10 imprints for people to even notice you, for people to even recognize or remember you. So it's just the truth, you guys. We are all moving at million miles an hour speeds these days. So for people to remember what you said or what you posted or what you did online, you really have to stay in the room. So if you post something 2 days and then disappear, it's going to take you 3 weeks to come back. Just, exaggerating. But this is where I'm going to stress, like, get your ego, push your ego over to the side. Like, there's something that's more important at stake here, that you're taking action, number one, because taking action engages the forces. It activates the forces that are meant to help you move the ship forward. But in park, nothing happens. So, yeah. So good question, Trisha. Thank you for that. So I have one more assignment for you. And the assignment is that if it's true that we're going to have a plan and work the plan, I don't think we talked about that ever. So here it goes. I want to receive from you a 90-day goal, at least one, possibly two, whether it's weight related, business related. You want to finish a book in 3 months. You want to finish a product. You want to have a website and have 10 clients. I don't care what it is. But we have to have 90 days is a beautiful, that's why my programs, I have 3 and 6 month programs, but my 90 days is because it's a nice chunk of time for a plan for transformation. The cells in the body regenerate every 90 days. So I want to get from you the names of the people, an attempt of a draft that you can write to people, and something that's going to be there for you to use not just this week, but also in the future, right? And I want to get a 90-day goal, and I want you to brainstorm the heck out of that goal. What are 150 steps that you can take towards that goal? I recently had to do that exercise when I was at Mike Dooley's workshop. And he said, okay, and my big monster goal was to help millions of people. And so then I had to brainstorm, what are 5 ways that I could help millions of people? And it was like, start a charity, write a book, maybe start a web show, which you may have seen me do. Because one-on-one is amazing and I love it. But, it's like, okay, one to many. So this is the group. But then what about millions, right? So by osmosis and by you guys going out and doing your work, it's going to work, we're going to reach a lot of people. But so I brainstorm all these different ways. So I want you guys to do the same, pick a monster goal if you want. Then what in the next 90 days can I do to reach that goal? And, so some of the things, for example, in my case that I came up with was starting some kind of video thing, because I feel like that can be easily shared. It showcases what I'm about, and I can expose people with, with very inspirational journeys that can help everyone. Check, like I'm, starting next week. Fingers crossed. And I have a few other things in the list, but what are some tangibles that you like to get accomplished in the next 90 days? And brainstorm, what are the steps? I'll be perfectly honest. My other one is to speak in Europe. And I'm proud to say that 4 days after I activated the plan, I'm like, okay, here's who can I talk to today about this? Oh my gosh, like there's an opportunity for me to go in September already, just by making 2 Facebook messages, like reaching out, you know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. Pick a freaking goal, brainstorm all the different ways that you could achieve that goal. Maybe it's filling up your practice with 12 clients by May or by June. Beautiful. What are some steps that you can come up with that can help you get there? So let's just brainstorm that one for a minute. Like, let's say some of you don't want 12 clients. Some of you just want 6 clients, 6 paying clients. So can you all talk over each other and just brainstorm some steps, for example, to reach that goal, to have a wait list of clients by June?
Talk. Talk to lots of people.
Talk to lots of people. Give a workshop. Give one workshop a month, because that's another way that workshops are a key part of how I started my practice. At the end of the workshops, I would say, "Hey, I'm no strings attached. Let me talk to you. Did you pick up on something in this workshop that was a sticking point for you? Is there something in here that you need particular help with? I'll help you troubleshoot one area. Let's hop on the phone and talk. No strings attached." The most important aspect of growing our business is connection, that you're able to connect with people authentically.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Any other ideas to help you get to a full practice?
Do a webinar?
I
online?
probably need to post more.
Post more? Absolutely. Especially if it takes 7 impressions for people to start noticing you.
Yeah.
What would you do a webinar on? Did someone mention that?
Trisha, what would you do a webinar on?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
There's so many things that you can do it on. Why don't you use the mastermind in the group to brainstorm, like, hey, I have 3 titles. Which one do you like more? You can do that in any
Okay,
group.
I can come up with 3 titles and then see what you guys think.
What are you most passionate about talking about? What do you like to talk about?
Me?
No, Tisha.
Oh, you're asking me what I like to talk
Yeah,
about?
sorry, Deb. Yeah, what are you most passionate about? What do you like talking about?
I love talking to women about like what their dreams are, what their goals are, what their visions are for themselves, and how we get so stuck kind of in these roles that we play, that we're not really, stepping up and living our own lives.
Yeah.
There's your webinar there.
Right.
Write all that down.
Listen to the
I
tape.
will.
I have a question? Would anybody be interested in a little like desire map webinar, like understanding what a desire map is and how to figure out your core desired feelings? For those of you that don't know, this is Danielle Laporte's work, and we have a desire map facilitator in our group, and I'm just gauging interest to see if anyone would be interested in that.
Yeah, I keep seeing that around. It's Vanessa here, and I keep seeing that around, and I really want to know what that is. Desire map.
Yeah, what is it?
That's my question too. What is it?
I would love to see that, because I just bought the book and I love the book.
Okay, Lynn, are you on?
I am.
Hi.
Hi.
So Lynn is our expert desire map facilitator, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but it's like I feel like I want to know more about it too, and we can help each other out. There's just I'm pretty sure we all have something to offer, so we're gonna figure out the best way to support each other, and and if Lynn, if you want to put something together, I can help you. And then remember, Zoom, this platform is awesome, so easy, and
That would be great.
If we could find a way to, because then from there on, then you can go out and facilitate it in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Mara and I have talked about this before. It's it's hard to do it, in a nutshell, but I've been trying to figure out a way to bring, down sort of the 10-hour workshop to, a half an hour of a taste. And it's quite experiential, but I think it would be awesome to share what I know in a short version with you guys. So I'd love to have you as an audience. Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else wants to do a webinar? Chris?
Of course.
I'm just
I
saying.
have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If I can ask,
Yeah, of course.
what is the desire map? What does it do, or what do you do?
Yeah, what is it?
How do you describe what you do?
Okay. Well, the premise of Danielle Laporte's work is that, everybody really wants to just have a life where they feel good. And that all too often we're chasing a goal, and we might feel happy, we might feel bliss, we might feel, excited, we might be people that search adventure, but we just kind of come across by happenstance. So she really is turning goals on their head and saying the philosophy behind it is that you identify through a process what your core desired feelings are. And to do that, you do some really deep digging into some of the experiences you've had in your past. And then when you identify your feelings, your core desired feelings, you have usually 4 or 5 of them at most, you are able to then set goals and go throughout your life, be able to challenge yourself or make choices every day based on your core desired feelings. So, it sounds really simple, but it's like, most times people aren't trying to get from point A to point B, where they're not trying to get that new job, or they're not trying to find a relationship for the sake of finding the relationship or the job. You're going after that because of the way you want to feel. And so when you really get in touch with how you want to feel, you're able to design your life that, it just has ease and flow, and things happen that are, much more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, okay,
Right,
I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, a lot of people say, oh, I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And I ask them, what is it that you're after? Because I've known people that after they become moms, they go crazy. They lose, it's like they're running around like crazy. And I was like, okay, is this what you wanted? Or what you wanted was more fulfillment or to feel complete? Because there's many ways to reach a certain feeling. But it's like turning goals on its head. The way I understand it is, what is it that you're after here? Do you really want a relationship, or do you want, what is the feeling? And then you can do something today. That's part of the quantum vision exercises. Like, like Cheryl said, when I'm living in my dream life, I'm going to be in the patio reading my diary and having coffee and having fresh flowers. And I'm like, could you step out to your patio and have tea and read something every day now? Like, start creating it now. Have that feeling now. Because that's one sure way of getting closer to the goal and not waiting till, the shoe drops or something. Yeah. So it's like and I don't know, it just sounds really fascinating. But this is really good, because what is something that we can all teach each other, Yeah. Like we all have something to bring to the table. Absolutely. Alexis, you have a lot of knowledge of everything from oracle, intuitive gifts. It's just amazing. Tisha, oh my gosh, you have such an amazing example of how you've healed your relationship with food and really broken the patterns of your family and your community, right? And it's amazing. Vanessa, you just graduated from an NLP class, like we all have so much to teach each other. So I want to encourage all of you to say, to tag me if you want to organize a little something. Maybe we can do 1 a week or 2 a week. It's not like we're going to end at the 6 weeks, right? Like I'm going to keep the group and you can all keep bouncing ideas off each other. But how can you help each other out? What can you teach the rest of us?
Can I make a suggestion? Is we can all brainstorm 5 ideas, or 2, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But what we would like to share or teach, because I have like a million ideas, but like if we could get down to say 2 and then brainstorm in the group and go, what would you rather learn about, this or this, Sound good?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So, so 2 ideas, because we all have something. We all have something. So, it would be a challenge for us to come up with something. It would help us step up to the plate and practice in a safe space.
Yeah.
And then we can tell each other, I would tweak this, or not take anything personal. But that's what a mastermind is for. So I can initiate that, remind you guys. So I don't even know what time it is, but so we're right on the hour. So I want to say, I want to open up Zoom. If you guys want to do a check-in before next Thursday, if you guys want to, I can give one of you my account if you want to lead it, and you guys can have a mastermind with each other via video or phone if you want. I have the big account, so you guys can have multiple. I'm not making myself available because I'm pretty full as I am, but if you guys want to get together at the same time on another day, on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, totally fine with me. Play, practice. And the last but the most important thing is going to be the chatter, like catching yourself. What is the negative self-talk that you're telling yourselves? And put it in a container, like maybe create a jar and like write little pieces and like put it in the jar, you know? And then next week before our call, burn it. Post a picture.
Works for me.
Does it work for you, everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So which picture? I'm a little confused. Sorry.
Is it Vanessa?
Your negative thought on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so set your negative thoughts on fire. Oh my gosh, I just love that. Literally. Yeah, so Vanessa, maybe you joined a little bit late. The challenge was that because we have to learn to speak a new language in order to be successful in entrepreneurship, because our negative self-talk will destroy us, or, you know, will sabotage you. The second guessing will totally derail your efforts, even if you spend money on coaching or groups. Like you have to retrain your brain to think in a successful way. So I want to help you all create self-awareness of how you talk to yourselves. And if you think it's so mindless, like you don't even know what you're thinking. So as you realize that you're thinking a negative thought, you can either use your bracelet. Some of you that have gotten it, and I don't know why all of you haven't, but you know, you can flick yourself, but most importantly, start logging them. Don't judge them. Just say, hey, you know, I just criticize myself because the kitchen's a mess. That never happens in my house, I'm just saying. So, you know, it's like, but that's my mom's voice. It's not my voice, you know? So what is the criticism that you have going on of yourself? What is the perfectionism? What is the fear of what others will say? Well, I've tried this and it doesn't work. You know, push your ego to the side and just capture it. Capture the exercises to build awareness around your negative self-talk. Look, it's not, you know, I'm not pushing it out of the way. I'm not trying to let it go away, to make it go away. Let's be realistic here. But awareness precedes choice. Okay? So, yeah. So, okay. So, you guys are going to talk to each other. You're going to send me a list of 2 names that you're going to commit to reaching out to, and I'm going to help you craft an email. Practice amongst yourselves, the negative self-talk diet. And if you think of 2 ideas that you'd like to share with the group, that you'd like to teach us, bounce ideas off each other, and please don't be shy and don't think that you're the only one. That's my message for tonight.
I have an idea.
Go ahead.
I have an idea. I want to help young girls and, of course, women, you know, give themselves permission to live their dream and show them the steps to do it. And I'm thinking with graduation coming, maybe I could, you know, like go speak at one of the schools or do a workshop even, like in June. Well, maybe some people graduate in May. But I could do something where I could maybe, and just, you know, just show them ways to try to make choices about what the next step is.
Perfect. Yeah. I love
Is that
that.
corny?
No. Why? Hold on. I just muted everybody, but why? It's not, does anybody think it's corny?
No, not at all.
No.
I've had similar thoughts with schools and starting them right about that age too. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think Maria and Angelique, maybe you guys can hook up because I know that that's one of your passions too, Maria. So, but yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
anybody, any thoughts, any ideas or suggestions, it just came to me because I know how it was for me when I was coming out of high school. I had no clue.
mm-hmm.
So,
and Angelique, like I say, it's really about taking action. It's not that you're gonna, it's not like this is gonna be your business necessarily, but in order to, like, when I'm in total overwhelm or I'm starting to freak out about something, I change my focal point. Give yourself the 90-day plan. Don't worry, I'm gonna send you all an email after I hang up, and I'm gonna summarize it. But the 90-day thing is gonna be important.
Right.
Got it. Because then, then if you brainstorm steps, then that means every day you have to reach out to a school or something, and you have to get a little bio together. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So great.
Write that down. So that'll be on my list of things to do. Reach out to
Yeah, but again, let's not use our to-dos, for this as like, oh my gosh, something else to do. It's like one little thing towards that dream, one little step that's paying it forward, one day. Like when I have career clients, as I used to, look for one job a day, do a Google search a day. That's all is required. Just don't connect all the dots, connect the dots that are in front of you. Okay. Last but not least, I want to talk about the fear of dreaming big. Okay, so the fear of dreaming big is, hold on. I just had to mute everybody for a second, but there's most people are traumatized and they don't want to dream big because they've tried it before and they've gotten burned. So I want to address that for a second. That is a huge form of hiding. It's a huge form of sabotage. And I'll tell you why. Because when you dream big, if you committed to it, then chances are you would have to live into that dream. And that is a scary proposition. So it's easy to go back into, I'm just going to keep overeating and on Facebook and feeling sorry for myself and eat a banana nut muffin. So when we have big monumental sized dreams, no, it does not compare to anybody, but to us, to our families, to what we know. I did not know that I was suffering from this until this week. That I realized, let me tell you exactly what happened. I listened to a call that I had with someone 2 weeks ago. I listened to the replay and I felt so disappointed because all I heard in that call were excuses from my end. No, because of this and that, and it was so emotional and everything we went through, and I have been in denial, and it was like a vomit of excuses, and I was just like, who is that woman? That is not me. So what I realized is that it was safer to stay tied to my excuses and my story of like, oh, but becoming a mom, starting a business, quitting my job, and dealing with a sick fiance and moving, and it was so hard that, oh my gosh, I've just neglected myself, and so I am 25 pounds over, and I just, it's a beautiful excuse, it's a beautiful construct, but it's total denial because I keep talking about this stuff that happened like, a year and a half ago or something, or 2 years ago. So what I realized is that for me to step into this big stage that I desire and that I know I'm destined to, when I commit to that, or I committed to it, I've had to make some changes already. Go to bed earlier, wake up earlier, be ahead of the game, right? Like not like the night before planning. No, like I'm planning for Saturday. When we dream big, chances are you're going to have to live into that dream. Hello. And living into that dream requires that you stop becoming the woman that maybe has held on to excuses. It requires, like Lisa Nichols says in a very famous, little clip that's been going around, it requires that you change things about yourself. And it's not a business strategy, it's you. So what things have we been doing that are keeping us stuck, that are keeping us in a vomit of excuses that would make us not feel good about ourselves if we listen to ourselves talk that way in a very disempowering way? How can we become aware of that and start changing that language and start speaking a new language of that woman CEO, business owner of a seed idea right now, or of an idea that can turn into a shift maker all over the world? Maybe your idea is not that big. That's fine. But let's just say it's not going to be created with the consciousness that, that has brought us up to here. We're going to step up our self-discipline, our self-care, our self-love, and visualization, because we are co-creating. If we don't like what we're seeing, we have a part in it. So how can we change that? So look, it's been a very powerful call for me. I feel like I've been ready to ready to come out of the screen and hug you all and give you a kiss and tell you it's going to be okay. But at the same time, it is my responsibility to help you play big and not play small. And if not, I really would be doing you a disservice. So with that, I'm excited to send you all the replay. I'm going to encourage you to watch this replay a couple of times. And I'm going to send you all a summary of what we talked about, of what to do. It may be a lot for some of you, but if we're going to really reprogram ourselves, we can't just do this once a week. Agreed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. How are y'all feeling?
Good.
Okay.
Good.
How was this call for you?
Great.
How was the call for you?
Great.
The kick in the butt we needed.
Yeah, I was going to say probably a much needed call and right in line with what I've been thinking all week.
Thank you for, I really want to thank all of you, Angelique, Chris, Trisha, Lynn, Carrie, those of you that, I know I've been so busy and dealing with, for you, Chris, I hope your mom's doing better. I know that, you were struggling with that, and I prayed for you. And for those of you that are dealing with curveballs, plans not going as planned, I want to thank you for staying in the room. I want to thank you for staying in the room. I really do, because I know that it's easy to retreat, and I'm glad that you're here. And I love you all. I really do. You make me feel very special. Thank you for letting me help you.
Love you back.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm going to go get my kid. See you all.
Bye.
Okay.
Have a wonderful week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.